One of the biggest and most popular content creators on planet Earth, Alex Hormozi, has made a major shift in his content strategy, moving away from short form content and highly edited content. And we have to talk about it. What we're going to do in today's episode is unpack his announcement that he posted a couple of weeks ago about his major shift and where he's taking his content and why it's strategic and why I think you need to pay attention. I'm going to unpack 3 lessons when it comes to content marketing that's working today that if you're a business owner, you need to understand. So without further ado, let's unpack this major shift in Alex Hormozi's strategy. All right, friend, welcome back. I've been excited to do this episode, and I'm a couple weeks behind in getting this out there, so I'm not the first to jump on this. Plenty of people have made their take on this, but as someone who's been a content marketer for almost 15 years now, and someone who bucks the trend of short form, highly edited content, when I saw Alex make this announcement, my heart skipped a beat a little bit because I felt justified selfishly, but also I felt like it was a great opportunity to reinforce some of the key lessons when it comes to what's working right now in content marketing. So let me just share his announcement. 2 weeks ago, he says, announcement, I've made 35,000 pieces of content over the last 3 years, and I'm making changes. If you don't follow Alex Hormozi, it's okay, but one of the biggest YouTubers and I would say even TikTokers and Instagrammers out there. Here's 3 big changes. Number 1, no more wide or general content. I'm only making business stuff for business owners. 2, no more ADD, high production, attention deficit. It'll be light edits and mostly uncut. Number 3, more long form. Okay, we're going to get back to those in just a second. So if you're a business owner, my last 5 YouTube videos is the new OG style, just value. I hope you prefer it as much as I prefer making it. Back to business. This is interesting. He says, my mission is to make real business education accessible to everyone. Over the past 6 months, we experimented with wider content with the thesis that it would bring more people into our world for business stuff. That proved untrue. People who come for relationship stuff want relationship stuff. People who want fitness stuff want more fitness stuff, etc. These are all types of content he was creating. In other words, and I just love his honesty here, despite getting more views and followers than any period in my content creating history, it wasn't bringing people who wanted business stuff, which means I was getting further from my mission. So I'm course correcting. I already started last week. Here's what you can expect moving forward. And we're almost done here. More long form content. Number 2, business concepts. Number 3, less post-production effects and edits. Number 4, less wide topics like fitness, relationships. And number 5, more lectures and workshops. Blah, blah, blah. And then he goes on. Oh, so much to talk about here. So again, kudos to Alex for his honesty. One thing I absolutely adore about Alex and his wife, Layla, who's been on my podcast. And recently, about 20 minutes of our conversation, she posted on her podcast, Build, really, really good stuff about managing team dynamics, hiring, firing, and then managing marriage and business. So really good stuff. Go check out that clip on her Build podcast as well. Love them both because they're just so real. Like they have nothing to prove, which is just refreshing. So this post again is a good example of that. But let's zero in on his 3 big changes. The very first thing he says, and then let's reverse engineer the 3 lessons here. He said, number 1, no more wide or general content. I'm only making business stuff for business owners. Number 2, no more high production, ADD, like all that stuff that changes every couple of seconds. It'll be light edits and mostly uncut, his words. Number 3, more long form. Pause. I did an experiment 5 years ago with this brand. 5 years ago. I was a year into my business and I was posting 10 to 12 minute YouTube videos on business related stuff. And they were highly edited, jump cuts, B-roll, graphics, quotes, music, all that stuff. I did that for about a year, the first year of this brand. And it was fine. I mean, the business was taking off. And then a year into the business, 2019, people kept asking me for a podcast. Graham, will you do a podcast? Will you do a podcast? And I was like, I don't have time to add a podcast. But then I got curious and I said, you know what? What if I just flipped my format to be, instead of 10 to 12 minute highly edited videos, just filmed a podcast and took whatever I wanted to teach, whether it was sales copy, email marketing, launching a mini course, mindset for business owners. And instead of trying to teach it in a tight 10-minute video, give myself 30 to 45 minutes to fully unpack the concept, almost like a little mini masterclass or a mini webinar like length, where you can really dive into something pretty deep, and just make that an audio and video podcast at the same time, and just hit record and just go. And if I flub a word, if I screw up something, just no big deal. Like if there's a major screw up, I can like cut out that one section. But other than that, try to make it so I don't need any editing, because I don't want to edit a podcast. I don't want to edit videos anymore. I was tired of paying an editor, and I was like, let me experiment with that, and I'll upload that as my YouTube video. And I'll simultaneously be able to launch a podcast. It was called The Graham Cochran Show. Well, it's since been downloaded almost 2 million times. It's a top 0.5% ranked podcast. Almost 500 5-star reviews. The YouTube channel has crossed over 60,000 subs. And more importantly, it's helped propel my business to now a multi-7-figure business. Very interesting. So for the last 5 years, I've been doing no edits, all uncut, all long form, for the most part, outside of a few tutorials on Kajabi. And the business has grown. So I'm not saying I told you so, but it's just interesting to see one of the biggest and most successful content creators making a hard pivot. So let's unpack the 3 lessons here that I think we can learn from what Alex is doing. And then really, this is sort of my philosophy on content. And I think this will just be a helpful conversation. Very, very simple. So 3 lessons. And if you make any kind of content, this is great for you if you're a podcaster. This is great for you if you're a YouTuber. This is great for you if you're a blogger. And if you're spending a lot of time on social media and not enough time thinking about your true content marketing strategy, and you think social media is content, you really need to think again. I really would ask you to just open the door and the window of curiosity for a second. Maybe Uncle Graham's not crazy when I say social media isn't real content. It is a place you can create content, but it's not the best use of your time. And it's not the best place to create customers, which is, I think, the biggest distinction I want to make here is, what do we want? At the end of the day, what do we want? If you're in business, you want customers. You want leads. That's the only reason why we're making content. This isn't even in my notes. If you're making content to get views and to get famous and to feel good about yourself, you're missing the point of why you're making content. The purpose is to drive business. So that's going to change how we view it. So this is lesson number 1. It's kind of related, so maybe it's a good segue. Optimize your content for your target customer, not just to get more views or downloads. So your content should be optimized for your target customer. So we don't just want to make content that is popular. We don't want to just make content that will grow our channel. We don't want to just make content that will grow our social media following. That's optimizing for the wrong thing, right? That's like people who spend their years trying to climb the corporate ladder only to realize that, as the analogy says, the ladder is leaning against the wrong roof or the wrong house. Like, why would you want to optimize for climbing something that you don't even want to get to the top of? You never stop to ask, what do I want to get to the top of? So I think that's what most people are doing. They're just optimizing content for what's going to get views, what's going to go viral. No one's asking the question, what's going to get me more customers? That should be the question you're asking before every piece of content you create. So the beauty of this is this takes all the darn pressure off. You don't need to get a lot of views. That's never the goal. The goal is to attract your target customer, because imagine your target customer finding, engaging that piece of content, whether it's a podcast, a video, a blog post, something. If it's made for them, they're going to love it, which means they're going to love you, which means they're more likely to opt into your list, to download your lead magnet, to hear about offers from you. Like, That's how we make money. I'll give you a good example. One of my star students, her name is Aiko. Aiko is a pronunciation coach, an English pronunciation coach for native Japanese speakers. Think Japanese business people who are doing international business, speaking English with a lot of people, and they want to remove some of their accent because English is really hard to pronounce for Japanese speakers. Like just the sounds and the vowels are totally different. So if they want to reduce their accent a little bit to seem a little more professional, whatever it is they want, she helps them. She helps Japanese athletes who are moving into English-speaking markets in America, a lot of baseball players, let's say, and some actresses and actors who want to move from their market, the Japanese film market, to the US film market, and they want to improve their pronunciation of English. They already know how to speak it. She's not a language coach. She's a pronunciation coach, specifically for English pronunciation for native Japanese speakers. She gets most of her leads through YouTube and word of mouth. Her YouTube channel has less than 500 subscribers, not 500,000, less than 500 subscribers. And she does about $30,000 a month in business. That's a $360,000 a year income. I mean, that's like insane because she's not optimizing for views. She's optimizing her content for her target customer. So the question for you is, before we move off of this lesson, this is the most important lesson. If you're doing content of any kind, is like, why are you making it? Who are you making it for? What are you optimizing for? So the question you need to ask yourself is, who is my target customer? How well do you know them? And then what are those burning questions that are keeping them up at night? What are those problems that are driving them insane? What are those deep desires they have? And make content around that. And use language specific to them. Use analogies that are specific to them. Like, don't talk around the subject, like just speak right to them. And what might help you is to actually imagine one real person and create content for this one real person. So if you have a friend or a past client, imagine that person from now on. Every time you create a piece of content, imagine her or imagine him as the person that you're making the content for. Don't think of the masses. In fact, this is just content marketing 101, is never even say, hey guys, hey everyone, hey all of you people, thanks so much, all of you, love you guys. Never use that language because it creates a disconnect between you and the audience, because the audience, if it's me listening to you, I'm like, there's not multiple people. It's just me and my AirPods listening to you. I'm not a group. I want you to speak to me, the individual. So you always speak to the individual. That's why I always say, hey, friend. Why would I say that? Because I'm speaking to you. You and I are having a conversation now. And so I'm imagining you and speaking to you. I'm not imagining the audience like I'm on stage somewhere speaking to you. So it helps to actually imagine a real friend or a past client or current client or a family member, someone you know. When I started the recording revolution, I had 2 or 3 music friends that were into recording, were getting some equipment, trying to figure it out. And I created an avatar, which is an amalgamation of those 3 people in my mind. And so every piece of content I made for 7+ years was with that type of person or that person in mind. What questions did they have? Where did they get stuck? What did they really want? Why were they setting up a recording studio? What were the desires they really had? Like I knew deeper than just, oh, I want my recordings to sound good. Why? Well, because I really want to impress people. I want people to listen to my music and go, wow, did you do that in a real studio? And I go, no, I did it in my bedroom. Like that's really what people want. So when I use that language, they're like, dude, Graham gets me. 7-figure business, right? So if you do nothing else today, pause this, or after this, sit down, open up a Google Doc or something and create an avatar document of who is the one person you're speaking to. Give her a name, describe her in detail, and then just write down her 10 to 20 biggest questions that she has around the subject that you want to help her with, and make content on those questions. That's all good content is answers to deep burning questions. Okay, so that's the first lesson, is optimize your content for your target market, target customer, not just to get more views or downloads. And that's what Alex is doing. He's saying, why am I making fitness content? Because he's really into fitness. Why am I talking about relationships? Because he's married to his business partner and they have a good relationship. When really the people I want to serve are the business owners who have business questions. So if I keep making relationship content, I'm going to attract relationship people. This is why, side tangent, it never made sense to me to create TikTok videos or reels where I'm dancing or doing something silly or doing something off of a trend, because that's entertainment. I don't sell entertainment. If I were an entertainer, I would make entertainment content because entertainment content begets people wanting more entertainment content. I share educational content because that's what I sell, is education and coaching and transformation, right? So I want to create the content that's going to attract people who want more of that type of a content. If I had a reel or a video go viral and I get 2 million views on it because I did something funny, and then I try to sell them into a high ticket mastermind, it's not going to convert. And I'm going to be like, how come I didn't convert these 2 million people that viewed this thing? Because they're not here for that. You wasted all your time, Graham, attracting 2 million people that just want to watch more silly videos. And think about, and I saw someone else mention this, and I'm forgetting his name, so forgive me, bro, because you mentioned this on your YouTube video about this topic with Alex. But where are people typically watching stupid videos? On the toilet, scrolling through their phone. It's disgusting, and I know. But like, is that where you want to meet your target customers, while they're on the toilet? No. That's not where they want to meet you either. I don't typically like to meet my ideal client in a bathroom, right? So the goal isn't to get tons of people to watch your video, because the people that are watching videos on repeat and binging are just looking for a dopamine hit. They're not looking to actually spend money. So you want to make content around and for the person that's most likely to want to do business with you. And you don't need tons of views to do a ton of business. Okay, that's lesson 1. Optimize your content for your target customer, not just to get more views and downloads. Number 2. Hey, friend, we'll get back to the episode in just a moment. Real quick, I hope you're enjoying the episode. And if so, please share it with somebody that needs to hear this episode today. It would mean so much to me. Also, I want to give you a gift for hanging out with me today. I want to give you my free $1 million life-giving business formula on-demand training. Inside of this less than 60-minute training, it will help you uncover your uniqueness to build a 7-figure boutique brand without burning out. This is some of my favorite material. These are the things that I'm taking my private clients through, but I want to share them with you in this free training. So if you've already built your business, but it's not giving you life, it's taking life from you, this is the training for you. It's absolutely free. Just go to grahamcochran.com/lifegiving. That's grahamcochran.com/lifegiving, all one word. And you can register for your spot right there. Now back to the episode. Let's go to his editing comment. If you're relying on editing to keep people engaged, which is what everyone says, pattern interrupts are proven to keep engagement high. And, YouTube and the other algorithms like to see retention. I get it. But if you're relying on editing to keep people engaged, either your content sucks or you're trying to track the wrong person. See lesson number 1. Who are you optimizing for? If my friend and client Aiko has to rely on gimmicky edits, jump cuts, music, sound effects to keep people engaged on her video, then she's either making content for the wrong person, someone that's not actually a business person, an athlete or an actress looking for a coach to help them with their pronunciation, or her content sucks. I know her content does not suck. She's world class at what she does. She's the best at what she does. She doesn't need to rely on that. She can just teach. She can just show you the thing. And if you're the right person, you'd be like, yes, that's what I need. I need more of her. How do I get more of her? I haven't done any edits or B-roll or jump cuts or sound effects or music for 5 years. And I've made millions of dollars in the last 5 years in this brand alone. Am I the most popular channel on YouTube? No. Do I have the biggest following on Instagram? No. I'm not optimizing for those things. As a human, would it make me feel great to have 1 million subscribers? Yeah. Do I compare my first channel to this channel and go, wow, my first channel has more than 10 times the subscribers. I have like almost 700,000 subscribers on the Recording Revolution. Why haven't I done that here? Yeah, sure. I'm a human. I love vanity just like the next person. But then I calm myself down and I realize, what am I here for? I'm here to add value to my ideal customer in the hopes that they will come over to my ecosystem and do business with me, buy a course, join a community, join a mastermind, hire me as a coach, come to a mastermind event, buy my book. So I'm just going to blow their minds with really good content. And if they don't like sitting and listening to me or watching me talk like a talking head video and they have to dip out and do something else, they're not the ideal customer. No offense. And if you have to dip out, that's fine. If you're already gone, you're already gone. But if you have to dip out now, go for it. I don't judge you. I love you. We can still do business. The point is, I'm not bending to short attention spans. I'm not optimizing. Well, people only, they click away after 3 seconds. Screw that. I'm here to add as much value to you as possible. And if my video is longer than most people like, and it's not engaging in terms of like high edits and high production value, and I've lost you, then you're not the right person for me anyway. Because the right person for me will be able to come and sit with me for hours in a VIP session, and I speak life into him, right? And his business and life are transformed. So I'm attracting that kind of person. Does that make sense? So who do you want to attract? See lesson number 1, and make sure you're not relying on edits to just keep the general population engaged. We don't have to rely on edits or high production to keep the right person engaged. Our content, assuming we're good and we're speaking to real pain points and real desires of our ideal customer, that alone will draw them in. Now, if you are boring, and that's not what this episode is about, but if you're boring on camera or you're newer like I was when I started, you can improve that. It won't stop you from actually making a living, but you do want to improve it. When you're on camera, if you have a microphone for a podcast or there's any kind of hearing or seeing you, you need to up the energy by at least 20%. And if that means you got to drink some coffee, have an espresso before you go on camera, do some jumping jacks or push-ups, whatever it takes to get your energy up, get it up. That's why making content when you're most energized matters. And then 2, just raising your volume of your voice, bringing the energy, pretending like you're on a stage, like you have to be a little bit more than who you are, not different than who you are, but just the bigger version, a slightly bigger version than who you are anytime you're creating content. That's a given, but that comes with practice. Outside of that, just make sure your content is good for the right person and draws them in. That's who you're optimizing for. So we don't rely on edits. And number 3, and we'll finish here. Long form is king. Like I remember being on a YouTube panel for something. It was a podcast YouTube panel 3 or 4 years ago. And this is right when YouTube Shorts came out. And I remember when TikTok had just been out about a year or so, and people were asking me, Graham, what's your take on short form content? And I was like, I don't see the point. And to this day, I still don't really see the point. I'll make a short form reel of my episodes and put it on Instagram. I used to do 3 to 5 a week. Now I'm just down to 1 because I ain't got time for that. And it doesn't move the needle forward on my business. I like to put it on Instagram to remind people, hey, this is what I'm talking about this week on the show. And I like to pull out one snippet, but it doesn't really move the business forward. And long form always has for me. So I always sort of rejected the idea, but the whole world has gone bananas for short form content that you almost feel like you're the idiot for pressing more into long form content. But we keep seeing trends that people are getting tired of short form. And they're actually, it's funny, even on YouTube, video podcasting is bigger than ever before. People are going to YouTube to sit and watch somebody talk for hours. And we have people like Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David and Jordan Peterson to thank for this, who've been putting up 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, Tim Ferriss as well, although he doesn't do a lot of videos, mostly audio, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour conversations or lectures even. Jordan Peterson, millions of views on lectures, like lectures about psychology in the Old Testament. You got 25-year-old men like gobbling this up because he's speaking life into an audience that needs life spoken into them. Like, that's insightful to see those trends. And then here you go, Alex Hormozi doing the same thing. So I've been saying it and doing it, but why is long form king? Because people don't believe me, or maybe you're like, I don't get it, Graham. Long form is king for one very simple reason. It creates trust. Short form video, a 60-second clip ain't going to create trust. It might blow your mind with a nice sound bite. It might make you laugh. It might create some curiosity, but you want to find out more, right? I can see a purpose of a short form clip getting your attention and then making you want to go dive deeper into the long form video. That would be the best case scenario in my mind of a short form clip leading to someone go, interesting. She sounds smart. Let me listen to that whole episode. That would be best case, right? Short form leads to the long form. And hopefully that's working for you if you're doing that. But the point is that short form content, that would be the only purpose for it in my mind. Long form content exists to create trust because it does. You spend 45 minutes with someone and you get to hear them speak into your pain points or your desires. You can quickly decide if you trust them or not. It's enough time to figure that out. And the reason trust matters is because since the dawn of time, trust is what sells. We do business, all other things being equal, we will do business with people we know, like, and trust. If I have 2 business coaches on the internet that sell me very similar courses or communities or coaching to help me grow my online business, and one of them I don't trust or don't really know very well, but they seem funny and they got all these clips with millions of views, and one of them has these long form podcast episodes where I dive deep, and in one 45-minute episode, I feel like I've learned an entire strategy for converting my leads into customers or building out a webinar or whatever. Like, who am I going to want to do business with? The one with the bigger audience or the one who I trust? Right? It's the one who I trust. And the best way to create trust is long form content. So the reason why for the last 5 years I've been making long form content and relying on that is because I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to optimize for the biggest audience. I'm going to optimize for the ideal customer because that's my goal, is to make sure that my content is useful, but I have a business to run. And so I don't want to spend time attracting just people. I want to attract the right customers. And so that's helped. And this is interesting too. Even outside of the podcast, one of my best uses of my time in the last 5 years is creating in-depth content around Kajabi. A couple of my most profitable uses of my time have been making these 30 to 45 minute in-depth reviews of Kajabi. And every year I do a whole new video because there's so many new features with Kajabi. And so it'll be like, you'll see like the most recent one's 2024, like, what is Kajabi? Everything you need to know about Kajabi in 2024. And it's like it gets longer every year because Kajabi keeps adding so many cool things. And it's like a 45-minute deep dive into like how I'm using Kajabi, how you can use it to run your business, all the different cool things it can do. And it's not even long enough. Like, there's so much Kajabi can do. 45 minutes. That video creates a ton of trust for someone who's considering Kajabi and they're comparing it to a competitor, or they don't really know what it could do, whatever. And what does that lead them to do? Sign up for Kajabi using my affiliate link, which makes me a ton of money, right? I'm Kajabi's #1 affiliate. I've brought them more customers than anybody else on the planet Earth because I spend time on long form content that's not edited, that blows their minds and creates trust, and that trust sells. In that 45-minute video, I'm creating trust with them and the brand. That's why Kajabi loves me, because I'm bringing them millions of dollars. Because Kajabi could say, we're great. Or someone who's just a user of Kajabi could say they're great. And so that creates trust because I'm showing them, here's how I'm using it. Here's why I believe in it. You should check it out. But it also creates trust with me because not only does that person sign up for Kajabi, they start to sign up for my stuff as well. I'm like, man, I didn't know about Graham till today when I was searching up Kajabi. But spending 40 minutes with him in this video, not only am I convinced that Kajabi is the right solution for me, I'm going to opt in for their free trial using Graham's link, but I want to use Graham's link. And 2, I'm going to check out what else Graham does. I'm going to listen to his podcast. I'm going to download his content on like his course. I'm going to join his community. He's got a book coming out. I'm going to pre-order that book, which you should totally pre-order. The new book, Rebel. Find yourself by not following the crowd. Just go to therebelbook.com. $300 worth of bonuses if you pre-order before September 3rd. Right? So it creates trust, which allows me to grow my business. That kind of content that I've been doing for the last 5 years is what's allowed me, like last year did $2 million, right? It's what's allowed me to do that by not chasing views and not chasing attention, but optimizing for my target customer, attracting the right person, not worrying about keeping the wrong person engaged, and creating trust through long form content. So that's all I got for today. Very, very simple. I want to say, Alex, if you're watching, which I don't think you are, thank you for being so honest. I love how you show up. And there's a lot of, criticism to this. You could say, well, now that he's got millions of followers, it's easy to pivot. That's not the point. You're missing the point, right? Millions of followers who aren't your ideal customer means nothing. And I know this. I get an inside peek into a lot of big YouTubers who come to me for coaching or advice. And they're like, hey, I've got 1 million subscribers. I have 500,000 followers. I don't have a sustainable business model. What do I do? And so I help them a lot of times. And I'm realizing that a lot of what we see, people with huge followings, does not translate into huge bank account. So the vanity metrics do not correlate with the dollars and cents. And so we want to go back to the most important question you could ask yourself, and this is true in any scenario in life, is what are you optimizing for? So with your content, that's the question I'll leave you with today. What are you optimizing for? Are you optimizing for fame? Because you could choose to go that route. I want to get as big of a following as possible, so the powers that be, people that matter, will pay attention to me because I have 1 million followers. That's kind of a real thing, unfortunately. But just make sure that's what you're optimizing for. But if you're optimizing for an income, certain income level, certain sustainable, predictable income, lifestyle, if you're optimizing for your business, then that's going to really change your content strategy. And you don't care about views nearly as much as you care about attracting the right person. 100 views from the right person, the right type of people, can translate into way more money than 1 million views of the wrong person. Does this make sense? Okay. If you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment below. Let me know what was your biggest unlock for this episode. What was your biggest light bulb moment? And how do you think about content marketing? Does this sort of align with where you're going? What changes, if any, are you going to make? Love to hear. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, would you consider rating and reviewing the show? It really, really helps. And helps people take the show seriously as well when they see lots of people like you enjoy the show and have rated it so highly. As always, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Appreciate your time, and I hope this served you well. I'll see you in another episode real soon.